Hello everyone and welcome back to Jungkook fans. Today we're talking about something quiet, unexpected, and incredibly powerful. In a year where nothing seemed loud or promotional, Jungkook's name kept moving silently, globally and steadily. Numbers began to rise, attention followed, and listeners around the world made the same decision without being told. Stay with us, because what's happening in 2026 isn't just growth, it's a signal of something much bigger. In 2026, something quiet yet powerful has been unfolding around Jungkook. Not through loud announcements or viral controversies but through numbers that continue to move on their own. Day by day his presence on Spotify has been steadily growing, adding more than 200,000 new followers in a single year. No major solo release, no aggressive promotion, just momentum pure and organic. What makes this rise fascinating is not just the number itself, but the timing. 2026 is not a debut year, it's not a comeback-heavy era, and yet, listeners across different countries keep pressing follow. This kind of growth doesn't happen by accident, it reflects something deeper. A long-term connection, a name that stays relevant even in silence. Spotify followers are not casual clicks, they represent intention. When someone follows an artist, it's a signal they want to stay. They want updates. They want more. And for Jungkook, that decision is being made by hundreds of thousands of people in real time, across borders, languages, and cultures. What we're seeing is the effect of legacy building. Jungkook's music, especially tracks like 7, did more than dominate charts. They introduced his identity as a global pop figure, one that resonates beyond trends. Even now, long after initial peaks, his catalog continues to circulate, recommended, replayed, rediscovered. There's also something quietly powerful about Jungkook's image. He doesn't chase attention, attention finds him. His voice, his tone, his emotional delivery, they linger. New listeners often don't arrive through headlines, but through playlists. A late-night recommendation, a shared link, a moment of curiosity that turns into loyalty. This is where the idea of a main pop boy begins to make sense, not as a title, but as a pattern. Consistency, reach, influence. Jungkook doesn't need to prove his place loudly. The numbers speak softly but clearly. A steady rise in followers shows that his relevance isn't fading, it's maturing. In the global music landscape, many artists spike and disappear. But Jungkook's growth suggests something else entirely. Stability, endurance. A presence that feels permanent rather than seasonal. When fans follow him now, they're not reacting to hype, they're investing in what comes next. Another detail worth noticing is how diverse this new wave of followers truly is. Jungkook's Spotify growth isn't concentrated in one region or market. It's global by nature, spanning Asia, North America, Europe, and beyond. That kind of reach doesn't come from short-term virality. It comes from music that feels universal, familiar, and emotionally accessible. There's also a generational aspect at play. Some listeners followed Jungkook during his early BTS years. Others discovered him through his solo work. And now, a new audience, listeners who weren't there at the beginning, are entering the picture. They're not following a trend, they're following an artist whose sound feels current, yet timeless. What's striking is how Jungkook's digital presence mirrors his artistic identity. Clean, focused, unforced. His Spotify profile doesn't rely on constant noise to stay relevant. Instead, it reflects confidence, letting the music speak while the audience continues to gather on its own. In today's streaming culture, attention is fragile. Listeners move fast, algorithms change, and loyalty is rare. Yet Jungkook continues to hold space in an environment designed to forget quickly. That alone says something powerful about the connection he's built, not just with fans, but with casual listeners who slowly become more. This steady increase also hints at anticipation. People aren't only following Jungkook for what already exists, but for what they believe is coming. Future music, future evolution, future moments. Following him now feels like standing quietly at the edge of something not loud, but full of expectation. There is also a quiet confidence reflected in how Jungkook's name continues to circulate. Not pushed by constant headlines, but pulled forward by curiosity. New listeners don't stumble onto his profile by accident, they arrive because his music keeps appearing where emotion matters most. Personal playlists, late-night streams, moments when listeners are searching for something that feels honest. This kind of following is built slowly, but it lasts longer. Spotify followers gained in this way tend to stay. They aren't reacting to hyped cycles, they're responding to resonance. Jungkook's voice carries familiarity without becoming predictable, and that balance keeps listeners coming back even when the industry shifts around him. Another layer to this growth is perception. Jungkook is no longer seen only as a standout member of a legendary group, he's increasingly viewed as a singular artist with his own gravity. The follower increase reflects that shift. People aren't just following a name they recognize, they're following a sound they trust. What's remarkable is how this growth continues without oversaturation. No constant teasing, no forced presence. Jungkook allows space between moments, and that space builds intrigue. In an era where artists often feel the need to be everywhere at once, his restraint becomes part of the appeal. And then there's the emotional pull. Jungkook's music doesn't demand attention, it invites it. His vocals don't overpower, they connect. Many new followers don't arrive as fans. They arrive as listeners. But over time, listening turns into attachment, and attachment turns into loyalty. Ultimately, Jungkook's growing presence on Spotify in 2026 feels less like a surge, and more like a quiet confirmation. A reminder that true global artists don't rely on constant visibility to stay relevant. They exist in the background of people's lives through sound, memory, and emotion. As the year continues, each new follower becomes part of a larger picture. Not a trend, not a moment, but a long-term story still being written. And Jungkook, without forcing a single step, continues to move forward, steadily, globally, undeniably. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Jungkook's global impact, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Jungkook Fans, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest updates. Your support helps us keep bringing exclusive stories, thoughtful insights, and everything you love about Jungkook straight to you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.